don't typically hop on, but I'm learning to do this a little bit more. Nice to meet you. I am ChosenEyes, professional psychic medium who also happens to be a doctor on a mission to train the next generation of unlikely healers. For those of you who stopped by my side of the multiverse, I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I wanted to welcome y'all, and we are having an event called Third Thursdays here at my office space, which is at 2324 Studios in Austin, Texas. So if you're interested and want to see some artwork, by all means, feel free to stop by. I'm gonna crack the door just a little bit. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, so here we go. I want to check in and see who we got here. All right. Cool. All right, so let's do a quick reading, shall we? Apologies for the technical difficulties. So I'm just gonna chill out, hang out here, do some reading, see what comes up. I love that deck, but it's telling me it doesn't want to hang out, so we won't do it. We're going to use the Herb Crafter's Tarot for this one. We got branches flying out. Ooh. Ooh. And this has got something to say to y'all. It's just flipping and flopping. All right, cool. Let's go for it. So, our first two cards are the Five of Water, which is Five of Cups, and the Tower, Mushroom. So that's the center of our reading. This is letting me know that right now this is a period for old paradigms to shift and be dismantled. Any unhealthy forms of communication and toxic forms of communication need to be transmuted. So namely the way that you may be speaking to yourself, and also being able to recognize that where something old has sloughed off and potentially, transitioned into an ancestral form, now it's time to make way and to allow that to give way to something that's new, giving birth within yourself, right? So maybe you've been going through counseling and you've been allowing yourself to realize that the voices that used to govern your headspace no longer serve you, and it's okay for that to have served you for that time, but now it's time for you to move away. Maybe this is also a period in your life where you're transitioning from friend groups, a new job. Romantically, this has a lot to do with evolving within your love space. Like, hey, the way that we were when we started dating is not who I am now, and that doesn't fuel me anymore. That's not fulfilling or satiating for me. So maybe this is an opportunity for you to navigate what that space looks like for you too. We've also got Six of Fire, which is Six of Wands, and the Two of Wands. All right, and that's Bee Balm and Nostrum. This is a period for you to really decide what it means to be successful and victorious in your own realm. Maybe this is a time where you don't, you're not making a lot of money, but this is a period where you're being more visible and you're actually laying the groundwork for and the framework for what will eventually pay off in a material form. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to decide what it means for you to see yourself as the hero or heroine. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to see yourself actually shine and feel safe in that. I know personally I have always had a hard time navigating feeling safe with eyes on me, and that has definitely been something I've had to grapple with over the years. But the more that you allow yourself to be seen, it allows you to recognize that you are still safe within that. You also get to decide how you show up in that space. So you don't have to give up your autonomy. It just means that you're allowing what is for you to find you, and you still get to determine your, like, the terms of that. Especially with that coming like second with a pairing here, it's also giving truth to power in that you have to trust that who you are is enough in the moment. I'm feeling like whoever this is for, you're enough and you've been enough. You just have to recognize that enough does not always mean global. We have a tendency to think that because we don't get worldwide recognition off the bat, or that, you know, we make our first post on social media and it doesn't go viral, that somehow that means we're not successful, or that we aren't being seen, or that success is not for us. Sometimes the success is just in pushing your own demons to the background and saying, I'm going to do this, and actually executing it. Sometimes that's the success, is you being able to do something that you never thought that you could do before. Sometimes the success comes from restraint in your words. Hey, boo, hey. Tell your friends, tell everybody I'm on here. You know, sometimes this is about letting people know that it's not about whether or not the masses see you as being successful. Do you see yourself as being successful? Do you? Can you see yourself as successful when nobody else may? That's a real question. That's a real question. And I think that more people should ask that question for themselves. One moment. Apologies, y'all. All right, so ask yourself, what does it mean to be successful on your own terms? Nobody else can answer that question for you but you. And it's okay. It's okay not to know the answer to that question. It's totally okay. My headphones just disconnected, y'all. Give me 1 second. There we go. Otherwise, you're not going to hear me over the echo. So, success on your own terms. Next, we've got the Higa of fire, or Hia of fire, and then we have the Four of air. The Hia of fire is like the princess of fire, right? So this is a very feminine deck. Lately, I've been drawn to a lot more feminine essence-based decks. And I feel like because we all need to enter into a softer space. So don't be afraid to, regardless of if you are in a divine masculine, divine feminine, anatomical vessel, for whatever reason, everybody needs to have a softer space. So with these two, this is an opportunity for you to rest. You got to know what it means to move forward and what it means to fall back. You know, we have a tendency of feeling like when we get that burst of inspiration, we need to hurry up and just go. And it also becomes this thing where just because you know the truth, or because you know what's happening, does not necessarily mean that you always have to speak on it. Sometimes you gotta sit on good information. Sometimes it's not meant for everybody else to know. Maybe it's just for you, right? Especially, I've noticed that whenever there's something that happens in passing, where like somebody just says something to me off the cuff and they didn't even think about it, I'm like, say that again? And they'll be, oh yeah, so. And then they just keep going. A lot of times, that spirit's way of being like, that was just for you. That was a nugget just for you. Sometimes they don't even remember what they said. They're like, oh, I can't even repeat it. I don't know it. Don't worry about it. Trust what you heard, right? But trust that that nugget was for you. You don't have to hold on to it to go give to somebody else all the time. Sometimes you can be a little selfish and let that brew inside of you, right? Because the other part of it too is, if you see this individual's hands with the orb, right? This is them working their own magic, but doing so in a small, concentrated form. And orange is the color of new, right? New nuggets, new ideas, new forms of inspiration. Then we've got Two of Earth, witch hazel, which is very astringent. If you don't know anything about witch hazel is what you use on your skin and other cuts, scrapes, things like that on your body in order to cleanse, right? And then we've got the mother of fire, which is thyme. Thyme is a natural herbicide. It's an herbicide in and of itself, but it's also a germicide, antifungal, right? Antimicrobial, which means that it kills germs, right? It prevents things from colonizing. So we can use it as a natural antibiotic. A lot of times when you see oil of oregano for commercial purposes, a lot of times in blends for upper respiratory tract infections, it will also have thyme oil. A lot of holistic brand of cleaners will also use thyme oil. In fact, I actually have one at home, and it works beautifully. But these two together, especially with the mother of fire, which is the queen of wands inverted, it lets me know that somebody has forgotten what it means to clean house. Sometimes you have to remember that it's okay for you to purge other people, right? To get rid of things. And what's so interesting about that is that fire energy, and for whatever reason, I feel like this has a lot to do with Aries, the sign of Aries, and cardinal signs. So Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, and Libra, right? This is for y'all especially. It's okay for you to clean house. You're not the bad guy. You're not the bad person in doing that, right? You're not the villain in the story because you needed to clean house. Or the flip side, you're not the bad person, or you're not a bad person because someone may have felt like they needed to separate from you. Sometimes parting of ways is the best way to heal a situation, to prevent something from festering and from going in a direction that may not be right for anybody. This is an opportunity for people to go on their separate ways, to continue on their journeys and to move forward. I had a conversation with a friend earlier today that was very similar to that, so don't worry about that. Sometimes you need to part ways with love before things turn toxic and unbearable, and people are not able to, where you're not able to reconcile eventually. Sometimes you may find that it's okay that you need to divorce aspects of yourself from yourself. I know that quite a few people have come to me recently and that's been the case. Lemon balm, 3 of cups, right? You got new. Oh, there we go. Lemon balm is very cooling to the system. Lemon balm is something that we use as what we call a nervine, right? So it helps to calm the nervous system. It helps to also treat fevers. So going back with that fire energy that we just had, further lets me know that before things get to a fever pitch, make the choice to step away. And especially if this is going back to what we talked about with the Hia of fire, right? Taking those tidbits of information and using them for yourself and not always having to act on it. This is letting me know that if somebody's been talking smack about you, or if you've gotten any type of information about someone or something or a situation that you've been trying to ask spirit for clarification on, trust is going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. It's going to work out for the greater good. It's going to work out for you. It's going to work out for others. For those of you who have come on, hi. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat, and I'm happy to pull a card for you. Let me know. I'm going to move on to my Dark Light Oracle to see what hidden truths may be there. If you have a question and you feel comfortable with sharing, drop it in the chat and I will be happy to show on it, or to pull a card or two on it for you. All right. The dark path. Learning from your mistakes. This goes back to what I was just saying. Like, that negative self-talk, or the self-talk that may have been a bit toxic, right? Or maybe some missteps that you may have had in the past. Learn from them, right? Because the card that came out earlier was the mushroom. Mushrooms are beautiful beings, right? I personally have turned into a mycology geek. Mycology is the study of mushrooms. And I find them to be so interesting because they're everywhere, right? It's a fungus, right? They have their own kingdom, right? There's humans, animals, fungi. And they are beautiful entities in that they can transmute anything from something that's seemingly useless into something that is now beneficial for the ecosystem. It happens in your body. It happens in nature. If you go to the forest floor, it's happening in your refrigerator right now with food decomposing, assuming that you're eating real food. All right? There's a reason why those apples don't decompose in your refrigerator anymore. They've been altered so that way they don't. But if you go see a real apple, within 3 days, that sucker's breaking down, right? So let things that no longer serve you and that are not at all related to who you are slough off. Let's see what else is going on. I'm going to use the In Between Worlds deck right now. I love this oracle. This is the imagery on it. So dope. All right. You can totally ask for a general message. Let me get that for you. And if you sent that a while ago, apologies, but the messages seem to be coming through a little slower. Let's see. It fell on the floor. One sec. Hopefully the bangs didn't impale you. All right. Solitude, right? And so this is a general for everybody. I'll get to yours, Evie, in just a second. Solitude. This is a period where you got to go within. The answers are inside of you, like I mentioned in the other pool. The answers are inside of you. Nobody else can tell you or teach you how to do it. Nobody else can tell you how to be it. You have to go within yourself. And also, this card I always find interesting because you got two bodies of water, it seems, that are separated by earth, right? Mountains here, mountains above, mountains below. And then you've got a lantern here with the reflection, and then you've got the reflection of what seems to be the moonlight here, and the goose right here, right? Why am I pointing out that imagery? I feel like you've got your dream world here, and then you've got the world, well, you got your reality here. No, hold on. There's the dream world and the reality that you're living in. And for whatever reason, you don't feel like the two can be one. And I've been saying that this is a period right now where everybody has got to stop thinking that they're not capable of manifesting what is supposed to be theirs. What is for you will always find you. And your dreams are about to become your reality. Your wildest dreams are about to become your reality. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Your wildest dreams are about to become your reality. There's no other way for me to put that out there, y'all. Your wildest dreams are about to become your reality. You're about to... I have no clue what keeps happening. However, ask yourself, why is it that you feel like these two can't become one? Break this down, right? You keep trying to isolate and keep things, but the only way for you to bring them together is for you to kind of go into yourself for a moment of cocooning, if you will. All right. So, your general message, my love. Let's take a look. What general message do we have for you? I need 2 more cards, please. One, 2. All right. General message for you. You have the 4 of Voices and the 2 of Voices inverted, which are both essentially the 4 of Swords and the 2 of Swords, right? Both inverted. And then you have the Ace of Inspiration and the 5 of Materials. So Ace of Inspiration is Ace of Wands. Ace of Materials is, 5 of Materials is 5 of Pentacles. All right. This is a rebuilding and recalibrating period for you to realign with what you have been feeling like is, I keep hearing purpose, but more like fire that you're feeling. And I'm slow to say purpose because I know that if I say purpose to you, you're going to be like, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my calling is. But you do sense that fire, that creative urge that you've been having. And that's what's going to lead you to your purpose. Sometimes we get so fixated on needing to know what the end result, like what the end thing is, that we don't take this hints, the subtle and unsubtle hints of getting out there and just taking that first burst of inspiration, that first pull. It's pulling you in the right direction. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be where you stay. It just needs to get you where you need to go. Just like if you think about the teachers you've had in your life, right? Do you still hold on to that first grade teacher that maybe you could or could not stand? No, you may not even remember their name, right? But at the end of the day, they got you where you needed to go. They got you where you needed to go. They got you to the 2nd grade. And then your 2nd grade teacher got you to the 3rd grade, and so on and so forth. So this urge that I'm seeing that is coming toward you is going to yield some treasure, just not in the way that you anticipated. And I also, with the 2 of Voices here and it's 4 of Swords, you're having a really hard time with making a choice because it means you have to surrender, and there's a part of you that doesn't want to relinquish control. Like you don't want to give over. You don't want to give over to the process. You want to control the script, but you can't control the script. Or you can, but you're going to slow down your own forward momentum. So give into the process. With this card, especially the 5 of Materials in particular, see, like these string, like this is coming out of here, right? For some reason, it always reminds me, even though it's too many lines, it reminds me of like a music staff, right? Like almost like music trying to come out of an opera house, right? But also like strings, right? Somebody else's hands is pulling the strings for your life, and you're like curled up in a ball, like, what do I do? What do I do? But if you just got up and you walked through the door, because there's an opening, right? If you just walk through the light, you would be surprised at what treasures await you. This is rebuilding yourself. It's repurposing old ideas, right? Maybe you've been sitting on a notebook full of ideas for the longest. Just random thoughts here and there, sentences that come to you in passing. They seem, innocuous and like they didn't mean very much of anything. But now if you were to actually compile all those things, you would realize that you actually had a book of poetry. Or maybe you had a coffee table book for self-help quotes, right? It's taking what you already have and recognizing that you already have what you need. You just got to start walking towards something rather than sitting and thinking that nothing's going to work. The other thing too that's coming through with this is it's okay not to know, but it's not okay not to try. Try something. It's not about like I only want to be efficient with my energy. This reading doesn't give me, it's not giving the need for efficiency or the need for an overabundance of prudence, right? Like you don't have to like shackle yourself to just being efficient and linear and rigid and regimented with this. This is actually telling you the opposite. This is telling you get a little crazy. This is telling you go try some stuff that you hadn't tried before. This is saying don't sit in your head just spinning your wheels, because that's depleting you of energy. This is saying you can't micromanage or control the cosmos in the way that you may want to. This is saying you're losing your voice because you're not listening, because you're not allowing yourself to feel where it's trying to take you. So allow yourself to go into a space that may seem a little uncomfortable in order to grow beyond that. I hope that resonated. I'm going to pull one more card. It's the Buddha Wisdom. Vajrakilaya. I hope I said that properly. The Magician. What you identify with becomes who you are. If you identify with being the light, or being the person, okay, if you identify with being the person that life happens to, then that's who you're going to be. If you identify with being someone who's on a journey, then you're a journey. If you identify with being a creative, then you're a creative. If you identify as being someone who's open, or just being open, that's who you are. It all starts with the spell that you cast in terms of this is who I am, or this is what I am in this moment, right? And you ended on the Ace of Inspiration. It lets me know that whatever you choose, there is no wrong choice here. It's just choose something and try it. The beautiful part about being a creative and trying anything, or not just a creative in the sense of an artistic sense, but being a creative in the sense of a being that is always transforming its state, right? There's never a true wrong way to transmute your energy. The question is, do you have the guts to actually take a chance on yourself? And I believe in you. I know you do. So, there's that. I hope that was helpful, my love. Let's see. Anyone else? The Muse of Inspiration. I was just shuffling this, put the cards back, and this popped out again for you. Oh, wait. And the Five of Voices, which is Five of Swords. You gotta stop telling yourself you can't, or coming up with reasons why it's not possible. If you keep telling yourself something's not possible, or coming up with reasons why it's not possible, then you're right. But if you tell yourself, okay, there are some obstacles afoot, let me see how I can traverse them, because I can still get to this next level, or what's for me will find me. That's true too. Anything that you tell yourself is true. What I'm seeing for you though is you gotta find a way, either through therapy, or I keep hearing allowance. Allow yourself to, not to fail, but to fall. And by falling, we're not talking about failure. Again, like people think like by letting somebody or letting yourself fall that you're failing. I'm a mom. You're welcome. I'm a mom. I have a teenager. You think I don't let him fall on his face every now and then? How many different ways can I tell you the same thing? The best teacher is life. The best teacher is you gotta So your safety net has to move out the way so you can fall. You know, you take your safety net off every time you open your heart and you allow yourself to fall in love. You take the safety net off and you fall when it's you following your dream. Anytime you're making yourself vulnerable, you fall. But a lot of times you're always going to land. The question is, do you like the landing? Do you like where you're about to land? And if you don't like where you've landed, you can always pick yourself right back up and float on elsewhere and fall into something else. Falling doesn't always mean downward, and downward isn't always bad. Falling up is not always a great thing. Do you know an example of that is how many celebrities do you see that are miserable? But everybody covets what they think that person has. Falling up a social status and social ladder, I've seen some miserable individuals. I read for them on a regular. Right? That wish that they could go back to the days where, like, they enjoy the convenience of having options with their money, but they miss the days where they used to be able to go to a laundromat and just chill out and read a book and nobody bothered them. They miss the days where they were riding around in their Honda Civic like anybody else. They missed the days where they lived in a suburban house. Like, I literally had somebody tell me, like, they missed the days where they actually could just go to the grocery store and be in their three bedroom, two bathroom house. Now they're in a mansion that feels hollow and empty, and they don't know anything. Like, they don't even know half the stuff they got in their own house. So, I see we got some more people who joined us. Hello. Let me know. Drop in the comments if you are interested in me pulling a card for you for a general reading. I'm in the mood. I don't know why. I'm just in the mood to offer a couple of card pulls. Doesn't happen very often. I'm allowing y'all to capitalize off of my... I don't like saying boredom because I'm not a boring person. Hello, Empowered by 11. Okay, y'all, I have to like have like a personal crush moment. Okay, Empowered by 11 is one of my favorite humans. Yes, I batted my eyelashes for you. I hope you saw them through the glasses. But yes, Empowered by 11 is one of my favorite humans. So please, by all means, go and show a lot of support to them because they're amazing. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, hugs. Yeah, I don't know why, but today I felt the need to just start reading. And, you know, I very rarely go live, but I'm feeling the call to do so. I should do a bit of housekeeping, but I haven't. If y'all are interested in any of my services, the link is in my bio, ChosenEyes.com. I offer medical astrology chart readings. I focus on the natal chart in particular, but we'll throw in some charts too. Tarot, obviously. Pendulum, oracle, cards. I can read just about anything, but I focus on mediumship, scrying, tarot, and medical astrology. So let me know if you're interested. All right. Empowered by 11. I'm reading between two decks. As you're a reader, I will tell you the two decks. I'm going to do a 4-card pull, and I'm using the Muse Tarot. If you haven't seen this one, this is some of the imagery. And then I'm using the Herb Crafter's Tarot. Let me know if anybody else is having any issues with speaking lately. For whatever reason, words don't want to come out of my mouth properly. Like, I don't know what that's about. There we go. Oh, well, apparently they got something else for you. So, you got 3 of these cards. All right. 4 of Voices, which is the 4 of Swords inverted, and then the 8 of Inspiration, which is the 8 of Wands inverted. So that's the center of yours. It's letting me know that you cannot micromanage the cosmos. We say that to each other all the time. But also, it's letting me know that you are focused on trying to create the solutions rather than letting the solutions come organically to you. And it's slowing up the process of it all. If you don't allow yourself to sit down and take this hiatus, it's not going to bode well for you. And that even means, for whatever reason, I keep hearing that includes work and what you view as work. This is a period for ebb and flow. I keep seeing the moon. Like, you got to be like the moon right now. It may come across as being flaky. It may come across as being distant. It may come across as not necessarily being who or what somebody else may want from you in the moment. This is an opportunity for you to really fall back and be what you need to be in a moment. You have I'm seeing where, not just because I know you, but I'm seeing where you have a tendency to show up for everyone, to be steadfast for yourself. Hi, Jason White. Let me know, drop in the comments, Jason White, if you want me to actually pull any cards for you. I'm offering free pulls right now. For the Herb Crafters Tarot, Empowered by 11, you got the Hia of Water, which is chamomile. You also got the Four of Air, lavender. And you got the Four of Water, mint inverted. So, not allowing yourself to take a break. Going back to what we just talked about. What's meant to be a space for you to see yourself, to clarify, right? Because lavender, mint, and chamomile all about purification, soothing oneself, right? These are all balms. These are okay. These are balms for the soul. Lavender, mint, chamomile, that's all anti-inflammatory stuff too. So you need to make sure you're not burning both ends of the candle at the same time, right? Because it's too much fire. You're trying to harness. It's like I feel like you're trying to harness the sun and try not to implode at the same time. You got to find a smooth way to release. You got to find a way to release it and let it go. Because if you don't, then what? Also, this is impacting your sleep and your journey through the dream world. And because I know your sun sign is Capricorn, this is a period where I think I said earlier, I don't know if it was here or on Instagram, but I feel like cardinal signs are really going through it right now in terms of really seeing, like, they're asking the question, is it me or is it me? Like, is it me or is it not me? Like, kind of a thing, right? Am I the one who's in the wrong? And if I'm not the one who's in the wrong, then am I being untrue to myself? What does it mean for me to show up for myself? And if I'm not showing up for myself, then am I really being honest in the way that I can show up for others too? Be very mindful about needing to try to overcompensate just for the sake of keeping somebody or something around. If it's falling off or moving away, it's for a time, right? It's for a season, it's for a reason. And especially with this mint here, it lets me know that it's been it's been a long time coming. Like, you've been sitting on this for a minute, knowing good and well that you need to move away from one another, and then spirit is essentially saying you need to. But again, I also feel like that has to do with your work, not just in terms of like personal, like romantic or familial or friendships. Like those types of relationships, I don't feel like that has more to do with what, even the way in which you work. So pay attention to that. I hope that was helpful. All right, Jason White, you didn't say yes or no, but I'm gonna go ahead and pull cards for you just because I can. And if I can't, I'll deal with it when I get home. So, ooh, that is a huge one. I'm gonna speak on that for a second while I shuffle these cards. Always, my love. Always. Got you. Oh, you're welcome, Jason. Real quick, I'm gonna speak on that. Empowered by 11 said it's my relationship with tarot and how it had taken over my business for sure. Sometimes when you are a multidisciplinary healer or just being, right? Because nobody's ever just one thing. It's very interesting to see how when you step out into the world with one thing in particular, how people tend to latch on to that one thing, and that's all that they want from you. And then when you branch out and you try to be something else, or not even be, but you try to evolve and incorporate and encompass all your whole being in totality, it's this one thing just becomes this giant monster that you never anticipated. And sometimes it's not even the thing that you started off with. Sometimes it's the thing that just people latch onto that you didn't even think that they were going to. That's happened to me, where I've been pigeonholed. You see that happen in acting, right? How many actresses and actors do you see that get typecast, and then they try to play another role? Who was it? Paula J. White, the lady. She played. She was in Friday. She was Craig's girlfriend, right? This woman is a triple threat. She can sing, dance, and act. She played one role, and nobody would cast her for the longest outside of being the hood girl. Crazy, right? You got people who are in the healing profession, right? And because tarot is something that most people are familiar with, or oracle cards, they start doing that. And then the minute that they say, okay, well, I also do astrology, or I'm also an astrologist, or, I also do gemstone readings, or, I actually also make jewelry. People overconsume what's easily digestible or what's trendy. And then they get angry with the person who is the healer who's offering other modalities, and they don't realize that when you don't, it's not just about making money, y'all. When you're coming to this healer and you're restricting their hands or restricting their spirit in the ways in which they can help you, that's detrimental. The same way that when you ask an artist to sing the same song on repeat because it's catchy. Like, prime example, New Blue Sun by Andre 3000, and this whole thing that's happening with LL Cool J saying that he how he feels about it or whatnot. Anybody who truly has been rocking with Andre 3000 for, like, if you've been rocking with 3 Stacks since the beginning, you know that he's been a flautist from jump. He played the flute in the band in high school. So this is not something that's brand new. It's been a part of him, right? You know him because of his ability to rhyme, right? You know his rhymes. You didn't take the time to get to know him, maybe, and to realize that that's been a part of who he is, and as part of his evolution, he's going back to his roots, right? But then look at the reaction. It's very polarized. You got people who are just like, oh yeah, I'm down for this. Every healer I know, the day that album dropped, had it going on repeat all week. Okay? But then you had other people who were just like trying to pigeonhole this man into one way of being. So just putting that out there, I wanted to speak on that because your relationship as a healer to your tools and your arsenal will always shift. It will always evolve. And it's usually very parabolic, right? You'll come back to it, move away, come back to it, move away. I fell out of love with tarot for a minute. I'm not ashamed to admit that. We're back. We're good again. But I fell out of love with it. If I'm honest, I fell out of love with medicine. So that's why I didn't offer medical astrology readings for the longest. But that's something that I've always have been passionate about, how the stars impact our bodies. It's part of the reason why I went to school for traditional Chinese medicine. Jason White, I hope you're still here. Need 2 more cards? Okay. All right, there we go. All right. Assuming you still here, Jason White. Because I can't tell. I'm on my phone. Oh, there you are. Hi. All right. I pulled between decks. The center of your reading is the 8 of Fire, which is the 8 of Wands, and the Chariot, which is ginger, something I make you shots of regularly. If y'all are wondering, Jason White is my spouse. There, I said it. It's out there. It's on YouTube now. All right. Proof positive that husbands or the spouses support their spouses in my household. Shout out to Jason White. This is an opportunity for you to realize that you see how this fire is kind of going unchecked over here, and ginger in and of itself is very spicy, and it's over here with other things that are very spicy, like green onion, white onion at the bottom. Ginger is very pungent, right? This is chili oil. Got all this fiery hot stuff, right? But then you also got full speed ahead with all these horses, and this individual, right? It's the Chariot, so it's obviously horses, right? But see how it's attached to their fingers, right? You have to realize that you got all this fire and momentum that's starting to come toward you, right? It's like you having a treadmill underneath you, and you got to realize that you determine the cadence of how fast you go. Do not let your desire for more and to achieve to stifle your own growth. Because just because ginger is good for you does not mean it cannot be harmful. Too much ginger can cause diarrhea, GI irritation, namely to your gastrointestinal lining, but just enough can stop diarrhea and vomiting. Too much induces both. The other aspect of this too is you went from driving a Hyundai to now moving in closer into, like, I'm trying to think of a car. Not quite Aston Martin. Let's come down a notch. No, not a Tesla. But think of an electric car, a Cadillac. Boom. All right. You went from being in a Toyota Camry, Honda Civic kind of area to now moving into Cadillac, right? Cadillacs are a perfect analogy for this because it is a luxury car that has the engine of a Corvette. So you just got to lightly tap that gas, right? You're used to having to kind of put a little bit more pressure on the gas. The higher you ascend, the more you have to ease into your coasting phase. You don't have to floor it in order to be able to go on the highway to hit 80 and then put on your cruise control. This is more about fine motor skills and finesse than it is about brute force and sheer power. Because the power is going to be there. Whatever you put your energy and focus into, chi goes where the mind flows. Right? So the more that you put your energy and whatever you choose to finesse, it's going to go full steam ahead. So you got to be very specific about where you are placing things. Share this video with y'all's friends, by the way. Let them know I'm on here. Because, I don't hop on and offer freebies very often. But here we go. Spirit moved. So I moved with it. Or if somebody just wants to listen, by all means, have them just listen. The last 3 cards that I got for you, Jada, is the 9 of Voices, which is 9 of Swords. 7 of Inspiration inverted, which is 7 of Wands. And then the Page of Emotions, which is the Page of Cups. Boom. So, and I read that backwards from right to left as opposed to left to right because that's the way Spirit wants me to tell this story. Just putting that out there. You have done a beautiful job of transmuting a lot of negative self-talk into motivation. I see words, a part of you that would have been like, you can't do that, has taken the you can't do that to, oh yeah, watch me. And because I know your chart, I'm going to put this out there. You're tapping into more of your Aquarian energy. I'm so proud of you. Yay! Um, so now you're in the whole watch me. I'm going to do this. Nope, I'm not going to let myself be cut off at the knees by my own, self-talk. But you're also learning with this Nine of Voices, you're learning how to move in stealth and not to move for the sake of recognition. I'm going to say that again. You're moving in stealth for yourself and not necessarily looking for the recognition. But because you're moving that way, the recognition is about to come. You're looking at more promotions. You're looking at new mentorship. I don't know. I feel very strongly you're looking at new mentorship, and it's going to come from some places that you hadn't even anticipated. And the beautiful part about this is that it's not that you are without, like you're devoid of emotions. It's that you're not allowing your emotions to dictate the outcome. Meaning, if things are moving a little bit slower than you would have anticipated or that you would have liked, if you're feeling a little disappointed about whether or not something, you met a deadline, or dang it, I didn't get to spend time with my family, or I didn't get to do this, you're viewing it as okay, divine timing is afoot, so let me not harbor this anxiety or resentment around it. I'm also going to say this: you have to decide whether or not you are truly built for what it is that you're preparing to undergo or undertake. I may be your spouse, but I don't make it a point to read your mind, so I hope that landed. So I'm going to say it again. You have to ask yourself, are you truly prepared to take on, like to undertake what it is that you have been gearing up to take? And there's no right or wrong answer with that. If the answer is no, you can always respectfully bow out, or even respectfully modify the agreements that are being made around that, whatever that is. If the answer is yes, then make sure that as you move forward, you're being true to yourself. Because if you're not true to yourself, you're going to get lost in this. Like, you're going to get lost. Like, going back to what I said about this fire, like this forward momentum, you're going to get swept up in all this if you can't control it. And by control, it doesn't mean it has to be regimented and stifled. It just needs to be something that you can kind of corral. And I'm saying this because the Eight of Fire is fast. The Chariot is fast. I mean, look at all this horsepower. Right? And it's coming from your solar plexus. Like, this is all like willful energy. And it's new. Like, reds and oranges and limes, like citrus stuff, all that's catalyst stuff. Like, you got a bunch of catalyst, chili oil, like all of that in this picture. Horses, new ground, one of my spirit animals, like trailblazing. And because I know what you do for a profession, that part makes sense to me. Like, you're opening up a new field. And I do feel this too. You're going to be teaching. You're going to be teaching other people how to do what you do. I'm going to go ahead and do this one real quick. Because I feel called to pull this one for you too. And because, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I love my black man. So I'm going to actually love on him a little bit more. There's, and also Spirit told me to. There's a deck that I'm using called the Buddha Wisdom. And so the card that I got for you is the Ecstatic Dakini, Lion-Headed Shimha Mukha. Old age brings wisdom and fierce certainty. So you are not old, because I refuse to say that we are old because we're the same age. But you are older. How do I put this? some of the same things that you were trying to set in motion 10 to 15 years ago, you now have the wisdom because of your age to be able to implement in a way that's healthier and longer lasting. I just keep hearing stronger. Like you were stronger because of your wisdom. You're stronger now. Um, and by stronger, I really mean more resilient in the way that you choose to move. There's more of a purpose and a true sense of inner direction and not so much an outer dictatorship. Sometimes we have a tendency to think we have direction when in fact we're actually moving from a dictatorship stance, which is somebody else or someone else or society, namely society, dictating what it is that we should covet or that we should want. And that's not at all the case. So this is a period for you to really embrace that and to lean into your age and your wisdom being an asset now. Something that I think Empowered by 11 and I both can agree on is that youth is not exactly valued very much in our line of work. When I was younger, and I get it, Black don't crack. I don't look my age. I don't look like I'm 41, but I am, I assure you. Um, when I was younger, that worked against me. And even now, not looking my age works against me at times because people have bought into the narrative that what can you tell me, right? It's working out a little bit better now because I'm auntie age now. So when I say my age, then people lean in a little bit more. But when I was like 20 something, 30 something, people are like, yeah, okay. And now you have younger readers that people listen to a little bit more, but it's in a different way. You know, when people come to you for guidance, they want to hear it in a different way. I won't say what Jason does, but I will say his industry is one where experience is definitely coveted as well. And because of what he does and the ground that I think may be broken with what he's trying to do, wisdom is definitely going to be something that carries him a long way. So it's going to be the reason that you're able to write your ticket. I hope that was helpful, my love. Anybody else? If not, I'll pull a few more cards just because I'm in the mood. Or if anybody who is on has any other questions, I'm happy to pull more cards for you too. I hear people out in the studio. You're welcome. Let's see. Any other questions? There we go. Okay, let's see what else Spirit has for you, boo. The Muse Tarot loves you, fam. I love it because it's a beautiful blend of air and water energy for me. So something that y'all may not know, when it comes to tarot decks are really cool because they're like your children. I always liken them to my children. They all got different personalities. They truly do. And they all have different energetic feels. Some that I have are very fire-like the steampunk deck to me is very air meets fire. It's like Sag energy and Aquarius energy coming together, which for me is a big deal and very at home because that's a huge part of my personal astrological chart. Then I have another deck called the Void Tarot, which is very airy, like straight air. I have the Between Worlds Oracle, which I love, which for me is very fiery and very earthy, even though there's a lot of imagery with birds. For whatever reason, I get more earth energy with it when I pull from it. So yeah, and then the Herb Crafter's Tarot for me is very like earthy, but it also pulls from other elements too. So just a note, when you're choosing tarot decks, take that into account. Does it speak to you? How does it make you feel? How does it, what elements are stirred? Or do you feel are actually drawn out? Here you go. We're going to take a quick break and do this. There we go. So we got the Three of Materials inverted, Muse of Emotions, Seven of Voices, and the Ace of Voices. So with this one, as far as extra messages that may be coming through for you, Powered by 11, you know, this is not a time for you to work in a group, which is weird given some other stuff that I know what's going on with you. The group doesn't have the answers. You do. And it's very much let things be as they are for right now. I keep hearing pick things back up in September. But for whatever reason, like this doesn't need to be something like you're trying to move in haste. The Tower. One of my favorite cards in the deck. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, or whatever it is that you're trying to facilitate or bring into being, is going to happen. It's not on your time. It's gonna happen in the most seemingly innocuous, undercover, strange, out of the way. Oh, I said in September, pick up whatever it is that you're trying to work on in September. What projects, like big projects, you don't really have capacity. Like mentally, you do not have the capacity to plan anything right now, is what I keep hearing and what I keep getting. And whatever it is that you're trying to birth right now, you got to make sure that at the end of the day, you leave room for the universe to come in and do it, because it's going to happen like in the most low-key, seemingly innocuous, like inconspicuous, behind the scenes kind of way, but it's going to be like I just feel like you get bowled by life with this opportunity. Like, wait, what? Are you? And it feels like it's linked to grant money. I don't know if you're trying to apply for any grants or anything like that, or funding, but it's linked to like somebody giving you funding to utilize your tools for serving other people. But this is a hidden gem. I don't feel like anybody signs, messages are to be seen and heard. Pay attention to the signs. You got people in your corner. And I keep feeling like things like all signs are pointing to whatever this is that I see being this Tower moment. All signs keep pointing to it, but you keep trying to divert away from it because it's almost like it's too good to be true. Like you feel like you're dreaming too big. If y'all are enjoying this video, by all means, give me some thumbs up, please. If you feel so inclined, also, in my bio, there is a link to my link tree. By all means, donations are accepted. I love snacks, y'all, and tea. Consider it, not necessary. But yeah, that's yeah. You gotta let some things fall into place. And with this Seven of Voices, you see all these wolves around. Wolves can be protection, or foxes rather. Like, you're going to have a lot of snake oil dealers that's around you. A lot, meaning, I keep seeing a lot of people telling you that they want to help, but they ain't really trying to help. They ain't really trying to help. Like, there are people who are truly like, all right, let's get on this, let's do this, and they share your passion, and they're being honest about their capacity. But then I also see people who are just like, oh my God, this is gonna be so great, and they're jumping on the money train or the idea, or they're wanting to ride your coattails without recognizing like you're human too, and you need help. Like that you're making yourself vulnerable and opening yourself up because they view you as this powerhouse, which you are. However, I have found that dangerous to give that moniker to women, especially Black women. We can't use that type of we can't give each other that moniker anymore because that's how we crumble. Don't do that to yourself, and don't let anybody else do that to you. Like, yeah, by saying powerhouse, I was saying that because that's what Spirit told me to say, because I keep seeing you as like this nuclear reactor, like this generator, because you generate such powerful energy and such powerful ideas. But it's not to say that you're not human and that you aren't capable of crumbling, because even power plants fizzle, burn out, which you are very well on your way to doing if you don't watch it. So I said we have some new people joining. Hi! I'm chilling in my studio space. In fact, here, let me give y'all a tour. I gave people a tour earlier, but this is my 88 square feet of heaven, y'all. Say hi to Baymax. There's my chair. There's my stuff that shelves I haven't hung up yet. But there's my aloe. Say hi to aloe. Alright, there is my bookshelf, all my tea up there. Y'all thought I was joking. I love tea. There are my orbs, one of my scrying mirrors, my incense, all my books. See? I read, y'all. I don't just spout out the hip. Like, when I actually like come to y'all with information, I research. There's all the magic happens. There's my desk. More shelving, candles. Told you I was a pyro. And then there's my wall. I'm very proud of the way that I painted my wall, y'all, because it's the first thing that I've done that's like this artistically. And even though it may not make sense to everybody else, yes, I have mirrors. Why? Because I read mirrors. But it made sense to me. I wanted like a checkerboard, but like not a checkerboard. And so it was one of the first times I let myself just like creatively flow and do whatever I wanted to do. And it was really great. I have this here that says, I believe you. And the reason why I have that here is because far too often when people sit in my chair, and even when I talk to my own therapist, I have to be real, we feel the need to validate and justify our existence. And we don't really take the time to think that people will believe us, because far too often we're not. It's very common for someone to sit in front of somebody who is so accustomed to being dehumanized or invalidated. And on days where it's rough for me and I even question my own gifts or talents and whether or not I'm in the right field or if I'm doing the right thing, am I in my purpose, when I have clients who feel like fish out of water and feel like no one believes the struggles that they're really going through, on days where I may be gaslit by the medical system because of my own stuff that I have going on, like, I need that reminder. And I have found that having that up there helps clients and guests, right, to feel a little bit safer. Like, I believe you. Like, I don't have any reason not to believe you. I take people at their word. But I also needed to remind myself that I believe me. So I offer that to you. Maybe there are some moments in your life where you feel like you need to actually believe you, even if nobody else does. Consider it. Let's see what else is going on. If you don't have anything about yourself, is there anything about something that's happening maybe in popular culture or something in the future that you're interested in learning a little bit more about? Consider it. Drop it in the comments. Let me know. I'll put it in the thread so I can read it. I've had a lot of people ask me about the presidential election, and I'm not going to say I don't care because it's not entirely true. But I will say is I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I don't have the capacity to think about that right now. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. What will the Saturn retrograde and Pisces energy bring for us seasoned healers? So I'm gonna go ahead and shamelessly plug my blog because I kind of touched on this. And I totally did. Go to ChosenEyes.com/blog and you will see that I actually made a post about this. However, let's check in with the cards to see what's gonna happen. The time that I wrote it, we were in a void course between with Saturn going between Aquarius and Pisces. So that being said, I feel like we were cloak in transition mode. Yeah. So when I wrote that, we were in void course. Like we were transitioning between two different astrological signs, right? Which was forcing all of us to really have to put up or shut up, like shit or get off the pot, excuse my language. But we all had to really ask ourselves, like, have we been, like, our dream world has to become rooted in our reality. And it also has a lot to do with healing generational wounds. Has a lot to do with getting to the bottom of who you actually are at your core on an emotional state, so that way you can clear out all that crap and start manifesting. A lot of stuff was coming up around speaking things into existence. So let's see what the cards have to say. And also, I do agree with you, Empowered by 11, because I've been feeling the need to cloak too. Like when I pop out, I feel the need to like really pop out in ways that are radical for me. Like, again, how often have you known me to go live and do readings? Not very often, but lately I've been feeling the need to really like do that. But then the rest of the time it's like concealment, right? Let's see. For those of you who are not familiar with my reading style, I let the cards fall where they may. They tell a story. Throat chakra and thyroid. So thyroid is important with this because your thyroid, I recently learned this one. Your thyroid, when you're having issues with it, has everything to do with your humanity. Your thyroid regulates so much in your body that you couldn't even start to imagine. Look it up. I'm not going to give it all to you. Look it up. But your thyroid, from a medical astrological standpoint, is how do you view and value your humanity? And it's interesting that from a medical standpoint, the age where you start seeing most people, especially humans who identify as being women, they typically start having thyroid issues right around the time that they start going into their womb shift, which is menopause, right? Perimenopause, going into full-blown menopause, and thereafter, thyroid issues become very common, right? And I find that interesting because that's also a time where a lot of women start to ask themselves, especially those who are menstruating humans, who am I without the ability to procreate life? Who am I if, especially for those womb-bearing humans who are asking, if I'm not carrying a life or if I'm not menstruating, you know, like, who am I as a woman without this organ? Who am I without this space, right? And so it's very interesting that the thyroid is linked with a lot of our hormonal shifts around that aspect too. So just throwing that out there. Excuse me. Those chakras speaking into elements of being intentional about what is shared and what's kept. Yeah, because not everything has to be shared. This is a time where healers are about to be, I don't want to say healers are about to be scarce, but seasoned healers are about to really go underground for a little while. It's going to be like, I don't mean to buy into this beef, but it is going to be a lot like Kendrick and Drake, where it's like sometimes we're going to have to pop out and show y'all we really exist and then pop back in. Right? Sometimes you got to pop out and show some people like, nah, I'm still here. I just can't talk to you about everything I do. And I was just talking to somebody about that. I may not be as active on social media as some other readers and healers, but please know that just because I don't post about it does not mean that I'm not about it or that it doesn't exist. Sometimes you can't talk about what you do. Sometimes you can't show what you're doing. Sometimes you sign NDAs. Sometimes you're doing work that needs to be, that requires you to move in concealment. Sometimes you're doing stuff that eyes can't be on. And sometimes not every healer is meant to be on social media. I have a mentor who financially blows 3 of the people, and myself included, together combined, out the water. She is not on social media. All her stuff comes word of mouth. And it's not to boast, that's not to say, that's not to, throw shade at anybody. I'm just saying sometimes people think that because readers are not on social media, they're not out there in the streets, they're not always out there and easily accessible, then somehow they're not legit, or, like, healing is not supposed to be consumable. It's a consumable good. It's a very intentional process, and it's a very intentional thing. Not every healer is for everybody. It's beautiful that social media exists, because then I get to have moments like this with y'all, and Empowered by Loving gets to reach you all, and other healers, you get to meet that are global, right? Maybe you're listening to me and you're nowhere near Austin, Texas. That's the beauty of the technology, right? But it doesn't mean that I'm supposed to be consumed, or that you are entitled to me, or that I'm entitled to your viewership. For the people who are still rocking with me an hour into this, like, I am eternally grateful for that, because time is precious and you did not have to share your time or spend your time with me. So just putting that out there. All right. Apologies for the Blair Witch Project moment that keeps happening with me jostling this around. All right. So Spirit's telling me to move this way. Ace of Fire, mullein. Mullein is a beautiful plant that is really great for skin, and namely upper respiratory stuff. If you have really bad congestion, pneumonia, flu, please consult your primary care physician or healthcare provider. I am merely giving you Googleable facts. I am a doctor, but I am not your doctor. I am putting that out there, okay? So do not say, Dr. L, ChosenEyes told me that I could. No, do your own research, all right? But that being said, Ace of Fire, mullein. It's also really great from a magical standpoint and being able to exorcise things. Think about it. I don't know if you've ever had really bad congestion, but it feels like an exorcism when you cough it up. We also have the 9 of Fire, which is wild cherry. Ooh, which is an amazing herb for the heart and bringing new things in. We have the 2 of Water, mallow. Mallow is an amazing herb when it comes to love and also softening of tensions. We have the 5 of Earth, which is slippery elm. We have the 2 of Air, chicory. A lot of y'all have that in your coffee. We've got the 6 of Fire, nasturtium. Not familiar with this one. We've got camellia, temperance. I'm reading that one upside down, y'all. And then the 3 of Earth, raspberry. So, what is this story telling us? As we move forward, this is going to be a period where everybody's going to have to speak truth to power. So your question about what this Saturn retrograde in Pisces energy has to do with. And that was my question actually for you. Is it Saturn retrograde in Pisces or Saturn retrograde in Aquarius? Because varying astrological schools of thought are saying 2 different things. Let me know what you think in Powered by 11. As I trust you as an astrologist. You're going to have to start speaking truth to power, and it's got to come from the heart. Red raspberry, wild cherry, things that are red typically from a traditional Chinese medical standpoint go toward the heart. They also go heart and blood, right? So red dates, heart, really great for the heart, but also really great for the spleen and tonifying spleen chi. Hawthorn, red raspberry, and hawthorn, red raspberry, and wild cherry, beautiful heart tonics, right? They help to move blood through the circulatory system. They help to build blood in their own way. They're really great for womb health. Okay, a lot of menstrual blends that you see will have likely. There we go. So you'll have those blends for womb health, heart health, all of those things. When we talk about slippery element temperance being inverted, this is going to be a time where I don't see a lot of people are going to have a difficult time with the balancing act because they're not too sure on what they're balancing. And you're going to have to see through the illusion of what balance looks like. Balance moving forward is not going to be 50-50, y'all. It's going to be a varying state of things. Balance is really going to be more of a, sometimes it's 60-40, sometimes it's 30-70. It's going to be a thing where you have to ask yourself at the end of the day, does this require more of me now than this? Maybe this gets a little bit more attention, and it's more health and intent based. If gardening needs 30% of me right now, then let 30% be all that it needs, right? And then moving forward, if I don't know, studying requires 70% of you for a week, right? But the scales are never going to be entirely balanced. You have to go into this being able to see through the BS and to speak from the heart without venom, without disrespect for yourself or anyone else. This is all about compassion. The only way to win is through compassion and speaking truth to power. That's the only way that you're going to be able to navigate this particular transit. It's asking you to again, make your dreams your reality, because it's already happening. So whatever you're manifesting, whatever it is that you got up here, and when we talk about our dreams, I'm not just talking about, oh, in my wildest dreams it'll be this and it'll be, no, it's the subconscious. Whatever dialogue or chatter you got going on up here, spoken or unspoken, is what's about to happen. So whatever you got happening between your ears, if it no longer serves you, dump it out. Let it go. Tell it to be gone. Do a banishing spell on it. Tell it, thank you for your service, but I no longer need you in that capacity. But that's going to be the biggest thing as we talk about moving in that regard, is speaking truth to power, but it's got to be a linkage between the throat and the heart, and the two becoming one, and then moving from that space. Because whatever is coming from the heart typically is going to be softened. It's what's going to temper things. Because it's all about new beginnings. And it doesn't mean that new beginning happens now. Saturn energy moves slowly, especially when it's in retrograde. It's moving slowly, and it's asking you to revisit the dream. Um, it's asking you to revisit, like rewind the tape. Were you living your dream, and was your dream a nightmare? Because we always say, like, if you know me personally, you're like, how you doing? I'm like, living the dream, right? And people automatically assume that I'm talking about something that's beautiful, rainbows, skittles, and mystical and all that, right? Some days I'm living a fucking nightmare. Like, a nightmare is a dream. Chronic pain is a nightmare, people. I'm just gonna put that out there, okay, on a personal note. So you can ask me how I'm doing. I'm like living the dream, and my face never betrays me, so that will tell you what type of dream I'm living that day, right? But your dream can be something that served you when you were younger and no longer serves you. Your dream can be a nightmare that you don't know how to wake up from. So whatever that is up here, dump it out. Evict it. And if you got to evict parts of you in order for it to go too, consider that too. I say this all the time. I have a standing appointment with my therapist. Sure do. I am a huge mental health advocate. I worked in mental health prior to going to medical school. And know that it works. I am not a person who is a proponent of saying that mental health doesn't or mental health issues don't exist. No, and I will never be a spiritual practitioner who tells you that if you have mental health issues, hi. If you have questions that you want me to answer online, let me know. I'm offering free readings. Think about it. Give me a thumbs up while you at it. You know, I will never be somebody who says, "Oh, mental health doesn't work. It's not a thing. Mental health issues, they don't exist. Mental health issues, like no. Like if you're truly walking a spiritual path, you know, you aren't schizophrenic. You're just seeing the cosmos. You're just seeing. Listen, I have my own mental health struggles and things that I navigate. Okay, I am here to tell you, you can have both simultaneously. You can be psychic and be anxious. Just hit the like button. You know, thumbs up at the base of this. Um, you can be psychic and anxious. You can be psychic and bipolar. You can be empathic and be schizophrenic. You can be like, your mind works differently in the 3D construct. Right? You can be on the spectrum and be a psychic medium. Like, your mind works differently. You can have ADHD and have your own and have other spiritual gifts too. Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other, right? There's our vessels have to navigate a 3D construct. And our spiritual beings are driving this vessel through this 3D construct that at times does not make sense. But it doesn't mean that one can't exist while the other also is true too. So, that being said, beautiful time to go see a therapist, to get a mentor, talk to a spiritual counselor, to gain perspective. But everything is about navigating the BS and seeing through the illusion. Even if it's the illusion that you have created for yourself. The delusion. We all are guilty of that. We all are guilty of being delusional. Right? We all buy into our own BS in some way, shape, or form. We are all guilty of it. Myself included. You know? So, do you have a question for me? Miss KK? so interesting to see people's names. Oh my goodness. Let me think. Don't be a Gemini right now. You're supposed to have some things going on. Yeah, like how I mess with the people that I know. Don't have no sympathy for them because they have zero sympathy for me behind closed doors. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. But I will also say, if I don't mess with you, I probably, you know, if I don't joke around with you or pick at you a little bit, then 9 times out of 10, you know, I won't say no one's inconsequential, but like, you know, we may not have that, you know, that rapport. So, you know, the people I'm picking at on here are people that I know very well and that have zero mercy on me. So, yes, I know you so well. We go back to Hot Pink peer group. Freshman orientation of college. I know you. Oh man, we are like an hour and 20 minutes into this. Y'all, I sincerely appreciate y'all. If y'all think that this is dope, please, like I said, hit the thumbs up button. By all means, consider sharing this link with your friends, family, anybody that you think could benefit from a free reading. I don't know the next time I'm going to do this. I'm putting that out there. So if you can think of anybody who may be able to benefit, by all means. If there's no other questions, I'm probably going to hop off here in a little bit, in a minute, y'all. Don't worry, I'll do this again. Next time I'll probably do a scrying session. A universal scrying session. But tarot, I wanted to work with my hands today. My occupational therapist would be so proud of me because I've actually been using my hand techniques. I didn't mean to fall in love. I need you. Okay, I'm about to just pull some cards for you, bro. Look, now you trying to be patient. Let me help a Gemini out. All right. Let me go ahead and pull you some cards. See what's going on. I'll do a general reading. And then I'm probably going to need to hop off, y'all. But if you're in the Austin area, consider sliding over to come seeing me in person. I was going to stay until about 9 o'clock, but my body is telling me I've lost my mind. So I'm probably going to cut out here. Let me see what time it is. I'm probably going to cut out of here at about 8:15, 8:30. Yeah, my body was just like, I don't know who you thought you were, and maybe you have forgotten what you did today. But yeah, we require sleep. That's how you know you're getting older. That's how you know you're mature. Your body looks at you like you have lost your mind when you try to do stuff past a certain time. My body's threshold was 9 p.m. Even though I had already told it that I needed to be around my studio until 9 p.m. It was like, no, you've lost your mind. All right, so you got the Star and the 10 of Inspiration. Okay, which is the 10 of Wands. You've got the Moon. Actually, we'll start with this. With those two cards in particular, you are starting to see that you no longer have to be the martyr or the pack mule of ideas, and that it's time for you to set your sights on different horizons. Like, you're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, being like, I'm completely moving on from this, screw this, bye, all of this sucks. You're drawing from the wisdom of the experiences that you've had, and you're allowing it to fuel you, like moving into new heights. The other thing that's beautiful about that too is it's going to open up so many doors and new opportunities that you get to covet without you being coveted. And the reason why that's beautiful is because you are not going to be something or someone that people, no, I keep hearing, you're not going to be something that people try to use anymore, because you recognize your autonomy in the situation. You recognize you're in control. You can write your ticket. You've already proven that you're capable. You've already proven that you know what you're doing, and that you bring experience. And this goes back to something I said earlier. I don't think you were on, but for those of us who are in professions where experience and age are valued, you're at a point now where, like, within your career, like, you grown. Like, nobody can tell you anything. Like, no, I'm grown. I've been doing this. Like, this is, I am this. Like, you can't sway me. You can't rock me. Um, because youth isn't necessarily valued per se outside of how well can we exploit you. So keep that in mind as you're moving forward and you're rocking with this, any new endeavors. And then you've got the moon and the Hierophant. So you're asking yourself now, what is it that I want to be tethered to? And, like, what am I married to? When it comes to myself, when it comes to somebody else, like, what am I married to? What am I, not so much what am I bound to, but what am I committed to doing in the future? And I'm going to give you a little bit of advice. You don't have to be committed to just one way of being. This is a time for you to commit to all aspects of yourself. So, to being committed to your inner creative, being committed to the parts of you that enjoy travel. Like, I know you don't want to go by yourself, but just ask your friends and maybe they will come. Um, I'm also saying that because I do know you personally, but additionally, when it comes to that, if you're committed to the part to yourself in totality and not just little micro bits here and there, you're gonna start finding that you are calling in opportunities that fill your cup. And I'm gonna pull a card real quick to make before I say this. Hold on. Hold on. I don't want to speak. So, reader tip real quick. When you read for people that you know, it's okay to fact check yourself, because sometimes, whether you mean to or not as a friend, you might interject. Yeah, okay. You may unknowingly interject yourself into a reading or your want for your friend or their loved one, right? So that's why I pulled another card to make sure that I was clarifying from an objective standpoint and not inserting anything. Two of inspiration. Yeah. You see how this seems like a vacant lot, but then you've got this hole right here with the telescope, and you got this being looking out. What you're seeking is also seeking you. I say that because the more you open yourself up and get out there and start moving energy, namely from your sacral chakra, which I know you're like, what in the world is that? Pelvic energy, right? Like creative energy. The love that you're looking for is going to come closer. You got to get out there. Namely, you're going to have to travel outside of where you currently live. It's not to say that you're going to have to uproot your life. It's not to say that this person lives outside of where you live. I just feel like you are not going to meet them where you currently are. I feel like you both are kind of feeling stagnated and stuck. So just always remember, what you are seeking is also seeking you. And for whatever reason, in your case, that feels like love. But you have to start embodying, you have to remember what it is to embody these other pieces of yourself. The last three cards that you have are the Ace of Inspiration, which is Ace of Wands, the Devil inverted, and the Page of Inspiration. So you've got a lot of cards that are linked to fire energy. This is the period for you to get out there and be seen. Fire energy is about illuminating, investigating, passion, pursuing, being pursued. You're in a space now where you are no longer trying to deal with humans who are not emotionally mature, who are not emotionally responsible. You're not willing to deal with anybody who's trying to play games. But you're also not taking that off of yourself. You're not doing it in a way that's harsh. You're doing it in a way that's actually very compassionate towards yourself. Like, okay, look, this enough is enough. We've achieved all the things. Hit all the milestones professionally. We've done all these other things. We got all these other accoutrements. It's time to get serious about X, Y, and Z. Um, I know you. Stop freaking out about the devil. The devil inverted lets me know that you are no longer bound to one idea of what it means to be in love, what it means to be happy, what it means to be in a relationship. You're open to exploring new opportunities when it comes to love. Like you're not so dogmatic and regimented about it, which is beautiful because it's trying to come in and it's trying to find you. Um, and I already know I can see you being like, I'm looking too, but always know that whenever you're looking for something, it's looking for you too. That's just a cosmic law. It may take some time to find you, but it's looking for you too. So I hope that was helpful, my love. Um, I am curious though. What does KK need to do in order to find this? That's too many cards, y'all. Come on. Oh no, the bang's gonna hit y'all for a second, or the crow. Aw. I asked, what do you need to do? The sun. And see, didn't I just talk about your pelvic energy? See? Get out there and go do some creative stuff. In fact, send me a list of those cooking classes in Jackson. I'll come out there and we'll take one together. Needs to be in the fall though. Let's go take a cooking class together. But get out there and start creating. I can't make this up, fam. It's the lovers. The lovers. I just told you what you're looking for is trying to find you too. So keep that in mind. All hope is not lost. Be very clear with what it is that you want for yourself, and then it'll find you. Anybody else? Hi y'all, how's it going? I really do appreciate y'all rocking with me for the last hour and a half. I don't know why, I just felt the need to like get on and start reading. So I was like, okay, let's do it. Yeah. I think that's it. I'll pull 2 more cards and close it. Actually, I'll pull 1 card from each deck that I have out, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're welcome, boo. All right. I'll pull 5 cards, 1 from each deck, and that'll be our closeout. Okay. Like, share, subscribe, do all the things. That would mean so much to me. That means so much to an old biddy in the game like me. It really would. We're trying to do my fizzle in these screeps. Like I said, there's so much happening. Okay, there's 2 for that. There's so much that I do behind the scenes as a healer, as a mom, as a spouse, as a friend, as a doctor entitled, right? That I don't get to share. Partially because I do value privacy for myself and my family, but also other people too. And the work that I do sometimes involves me not being able to always share what I'm doing. But do know that I value what I do. I love what I do. I love training the next generation of healers. Even in this video, I've given y'all some tarot gems. If you paid attention to what I was, if you picked up what I was putting down, if you will. Okay. And reading between decks, for all of y'all that may be wondering, like, what does that mean? It means that you use multiple decks. Hi, love. How are you? It means using more than one deck to ascertain some answers. Another thing I'm going to put out there, the card may come out one way, but that may not be the way that you need to read it. So if it comes out inverted, but your spirit, it doesn't feel right, flip it. It's all right. You don't always have to read it the way that it came out. Just like you don't always mean what you say, or you should, but sometimes people say I said something in the heat of the moment and that's not what I meant. Well, you know, sometimes it's like that. All right. Blair Witch Project moment. We got Rage. We got the Lovers. See, I told you Hawthorne for the heart. We just learned that herb, right? The Eight of Earth, which is Eight of Pentacles. Turmeric. Just had this card, the Two of Inspiration. Dangerous Passion. Red as a bleeding heart. And then we got Stand Firm to cut through tension, doubt, and fear. So in closing, the universal message for everybody right now is speak from your heart. What you are looking for is also trying to seek you, and the only way for you to be able to have those things come into alignment is by creating the space to allow those new things to have a space. So if you're holding on to anguish, if you're holding on to old relationships, ways of thinking, anything that's taking up space, that's cluttering your life. Side note, did y'all realize that Target now has storage cubes? But they're getting into the storage business? Weird, I just saw that. But, well, I literally saw an advertisement for that earlier today. But it made me think about this, right? If there have been things that you've had in your spiritual storage compartments, it's time to air those out and clean those out. You may be surprised at what you've been hoarding. And you can't move in fear. You have to move with love and compassion for yourself, for the situation. It's something that I said earlier to somebody earlier this week. We too grown for things to be toxic. Like, we don't have to be ugly. We're too grown for stuff to have to be ugly at this point in life. You can move in a different direction from somebody else and do it with kindness and with love, and still know that you love this person, and maybe it's not the right fit romantically, especially right now. Maybe this is a period in your life where you recognize that this is no longer the right fit for a job or the school that your child is in, or that you're in. You can let it go with love and appreciate this, what it meant for you in that moment. You know, maybe this is an opportunity for you to totally consider. Thanks, Ray. Consider like, sharing, and subscribing. Share with friends and family. Get the message out there. Thanks. I'll be doing these more often. I can't give you a rhyme or reason on when it's going to be, but it'll be happening. Do not dwell on your feelings, especially with this dangerous passion, right? When it comes to what made you feel good, right? Sometimes the things that we love the most that made us feel the best are some of the worst things for us. I'll give you an example. Oreos are vegan. Oreos will, as much as I love them, and they got me through high school and college, Oreos are the worst thing in the world for me to eat. But they're so good, and I love them so much. Avocado. I love a good avocado. Absolutely love avocados. I will be using my EpiPen if I use my avocado. Avocados are deadly for me. Okay? Sometimes the things that you love so much that just soothe your soul, or that they feel like they're like a balm or a liniment, or like they just, you know what, they just hit. Just hit right. Not the best things in the world for you sometimes. So keep that in mind, okay? Allow yourself to move forward. Working does not always mean that it has to be harder. Work smarter, and not working against yourself and your natural talents and gifts. All right? So with that being said, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. Thank you for chilling out with me On my side of the multiverse, it means the world to me more than you know. I am ChosenEyes, professional psychic medium who also happens to be a doctor on a mission to train the next generation of unlikely healers. Tune in. I do have a new video that I actually just posted earlier today, so go back and check that out. I also have something that I offer every Monday called Monday Morning Mantras, as well as Friday Fluck Ups. It's my attempt at humanizing expert culture. So if you need a pick me up at the beginning of the week or something to kind of wet your whistle on like what you should kind of be considering, hit me up on Mondays. I post them here, but I also post them on all my platforms. If you have enjoyed today's reading, there's no pressure with this, but there is not but. And that being said, there is a lovely donate button for PayPal and or Venmo in my bio on my link tree. Consider making a donation. If you are unable to do that, I totally get it. This economy is, but consider sharing this info on my page with anybody that you feel could benefit. I will do my best to next time put a preview prompt on when I'm going to go live again, so that way you can tune in, set your notifications so that way you know when I pop on. And with that, keep your gazes forward, y'all. Mwah. Love and kisses. Bye.